What is up, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video. As you all can see, I'm accompanied by my little friend, if she wants to look at the camera. Come on, Ibiza. Look at the camera. There we go. And we're going to be breaking down the stock market. Currently, the S&P 500 is at break even pretty much with about 15 minutes left in the session. The Dow Jones is up 1.5%. We have the Nasdaq down over 2%. That's the Nasdaq 100. And the Russell 2000 is up about 0.9%. So as always, we're going to be breaking down the markets, going over some technicals. I also want to share with you guys what I did in the stock market today. And of course, we're going to be going over 10 stocks that I'm watching and maybe looking to buy right now. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe, make sure to go down below, get into the Discord chat, the Facebook group, get 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100, and that's how you get those 2 free stocks using that link down below. And you could also check out my Patreon for real-time buy and sell alerts, real-time call-outs, more access to me throughout the trading day, and daily morning update videos. And she's fussing with me right now, guys. I'm going to put her back down. But the Patreon, that is linked right down below, and let's get right into the video. So let's check out the S&P 500. Now it's actually down 0.2% with about 12 minutes left in the session. And like we covered on Patreon earlier, I also made a little YouTube video about it. This could very well be a bull trap, what we are seeing playing out right now, especially because if you can see here on the hourly, we're getting rejected under the 180 SMA and under this overall downtrend resistance, right? And on top of that, if we go to the intraday chart, what you're noticing here is we kind of peaked out at about 38.80 in the middle of the day. We actually got rejected there multiple times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And after we peaked at about that price, we ended up, and we're still in this little sell-off, right? We ended up seeing a bit of a sell-off heading into the market close, and the market's closing in 10 minutes, and we're still selling off. In fact, the S&P literally just turned negative within the past 10 minutes as I'm filming this video. So it's not looking too great for the bulls. That's pretty much the moral of the story. You know, we got the stimulus. This kind of caused a pump in the morning, but it seems like the market is selling off. It's kind of selling the news. It's like a sell the news event when it comes to the stimulus. And when it comes to the 10-year treasury, we also talked about this earlier on Patreon as well. The 10-year treasury, it was over 1.6. Now, what is it at? It's at 1.596. So it's actually gone down a bit, but still we're seeing the tech stocks, they're getting slammed, guys. The Nasdaq 100 is down 2.4%. We have Netflix down 4%, Google's down 3.5%, Apple's down almost 4%, Facebook's down 3%. So I'm not jumping all in quite yet on this market, because what I'm seeing is, yeah, we could end up seeing a further sell-off based on the fact that we failed at 38.80, 38.90, and now we're seeing a downswing heading into the close of the market. And I'm thinking if we take out the lows from, I don't think this was last week, probably the week before that, if we take out 3,800, 3,805, 3,790. If we break under those points, I think we're going to be going straight for the lows from last week, which those lows are 3,725, 3,730, right around that area. So those are some thoughts and kind of what I'm watching right now when it comes to the S&P 500. And let's quickly look at the tech-heavy Nasdaq. Again, this is getting slammed. And what do you know? The downtrend is continuing. We talked about this morning, and it looks like it's playing out exactly as we talked about it, right? We're still in a downtrend. That's what I was saying, meaning on this hourly chart, we're still under the 50 SMA, the 180 SMA. In fact, we're looking to push for those lows from last week as we speak. That low point from last week was 12,200. Now we're trading a little bit above 12,300. So we're literally a stone's throw away from that lower low to the point where I think if the Nasdaq 100 breaks 12,200, I wouldn't be surprised if we go to 12,000 or maybe even the high 11,000s. And I mean, that's territory where we're going to be getting closer and closer to a bear market. I mean, we're not quite there yet. The Nasdaq's currently down about 12%. More actually, it's closer to 11% down from the all-time high. So for us to get to a bear market, we need to go down another 9% from here, which is possible, but we're not there quite yet. But yeah, we're just keeping an eye on if 12,000 breaks this 12,200 level as well. I mean, I think we're going to be going high 11,000s on the Nasdaq 100 here. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. As always, I would love to know, and make sure to hit the like button if you guys haven't done that already. It really helps me out, really boosts my channel up in the YouTube algorithm, and it shows me your appreciation and shows me that you guys actually like the content. So make sure to go hit that like button, and I really do appreciate it again if you guys do that. And let's quickly now go over stocks I'm holding. And surprise, news flash, I didn't do anything today. I didn't make any new moves today. I could have, but I'm being a little bit patient here because I want to see, again, if this bull trap that we're kind of seeing on the S&P forming, it looks like it's already playing out on the Nasdaq 100, but I want to see if it plays out on the S&P and we end up, like I said, going down to 3,700, heck, even lower, even under 3,700. So I didn't deploy any new capital into the markets today. I'm waiting to see what happens tomorrow and the next day. Who knows? I might load up on a stock or two tomorrow. We'll see, or maybe even the next day, or maybe even later on this week. But at this point, again, I want to see if this bull trap plays out, and we're selling off into the close of the market here pretty aggressively. So it looks like to me this is more of a bull trap than it is a breakout. So we have to be careful, and for that reason, I did not add any new money today, but I am still in a bunch of stocks. I mean, you guys know I'm pulling up my list right here on my iPad. I'm in Tesla right now. I'm in SLV. This is a silver ETF. This pretty much did nothing today. Tesla, on the flip side, that went down over 5% today. And you guys know I actually added more to my position at 610. That was last week. And my next target to where I'd want to add more, I'm probably looking in the lower 500s. I'm not rushing it yet, but if we get a gap down, let's say tomorrow, maybe the next day, into the lower 500s, that is probably where I'm going to add an even bigger addition to my position. So I'm kind of waiting for that. I'm also still in ChargePoint CHPT. I'm also holding on to this, guys. I'm underwater on this position, but you guys can see it's slowly bouncing back. We hit about 19.50, 20 bucks. Now we're in the mid 20s. Who knows? This could be $30 plus, but with all the market volatility, a lot of volatility around the growth stocks in particular, especially the SPACs, this could very well take the lows out, or it could rip back up. All I do know for sure is there's going to be a lot of volatility, and I'm still holding on to my position. And NEO is another one I'm still holding on through the volatility, and I might even add more to this one at some point this week. It's currently down 7.6%. And Tattooed Chef is another one which is up today. It went up 0.6%. Still holding on to this one, and I also want to add more money to this as well. And I got a comment earlier, Stas, did you sell out of your workhorse? And the answer to that question is no. I am still in workhorse, and today it went up 13%. And yeah, I'm not really, like I've said before in different videos, I made money on my workhorse trade. I'm just holding on to the little piece of the position I have left, and I'm not rushing to offload these shares. I don't need this money. I just don't need it at this point. So I'm just looking to hold on to this position, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, what are you guys doing? That's a good question to ask. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are up to. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And if you all want to get real-time buy and sell alerts, real-time call-outs, access to me on a more one-on-one basis throughout the day, and you get morning update videos and a bunch of other exclusive content, check out the Patreon. That's linked right down below, and I'm putting in a bunch of work and effort there on Patreon, so check that out if you do want all of those awesome perks. And let's get into a bunch of stocks here. Like I said, and like you saw in the title, there's 10 stocks that we're going to go over today. Number one is DKS, also known as Dick's Sporting Goods. And not to sell the Patreon again, but we actually called this out in Patreon or on Patreon this morning in the morning update video, and it actually went up over 7%. It's currently up 7.3% with 2 minutes left in the market today. And this broke out and it completely played exactly to how we were talking about it. And I think there's more juice left in this trade. I think there could be a move towards $80, $85, especially with earnings coming out. And granted, if earnings are bad, we're going to probably see this stock tank. But if earnings come out, they're solid, guidance is there, we could see, like I said, 80, 85 on the stock. I think that is very possible. So the fact that we broke this downtrending channel, that is awesome. We broke the 50 SMA, the 180 SMA. We're seeing a bullish cross. The EMA is crossing above the 180 SMA here. So I like this. A lot of momentum. Although it's already run up 7% from our call out this morning, I still think there is more upside to around $80, maybe even more than $80. So watch out, Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker symbol DKS, and they do report earnings tomorrow. Is it pre-market or aftermarket? Let me double check. It's actually pre-market, so that's going to be one worth watching in the morning. And Apple, good old Apple. Here goes the bell. Give it a second. 2 seconds, guys. Hold up. There we go. Apple just closed the day down about 4.2%, down another $5. And I'm not going to lie, I'm happy about this. This is actually playing out exactly to how we talked about in previous videos, right? I mentioned if 120 breaks, guys, look for a move to the lower $110 range. And now we're in the mid 110s. We're at about 116. And you guys can notice here the next big support is 113, hence the lower $110 range that I'm looking at, and that's the support from back in the end of November. So I think that is where Apple's going. And if you all remember, and I'll mention it again here, I've said before that, listen, if Apple goes down to 113, I'm looking to add a 30% stake or something like that, maybe 25. If it goes down to 108, I'm looking to add even more because that's the next big level of support. That's the next gap that could fill to the downside if we go under 113. So 113, I'm looking to add 108. I'm looking to go even heavier. And if 108 breaks, guys, don't let 108 break. Don't even let 100 break. If 100 breaks on Apple, I'm going to go, I don't want to say all in because, of course, it could go lower, but I'm going to go in heavier, right? I'm going to go in heavier. So I'm looking at 113, 108. I'm looking at 103. That's another big level. Then if 103 breaks, gosh, guys, we're going high 90s. I mean, I think we could be going to that resistance point from back in July. So these are a bunch of levels, and by no means is Apple breaking out. In fact, it just hit a lower low. Like I said, the downtrend is still intact. So approach with caution, but if you're looking to add into a position, I mean, adding on the way down, I know it hurts. There's pain involved. You're holding through the red, but adding on the way down in increments and always having cash, you know, don't deplete all your cash at once. That's kind of my one of my big rules. You know, if you do that, you should be golden, right? Especially with great companies, great stocks like Apple. So that is AAPL. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about some more speculative stocks. And we also called this one out, AMC. We talked about it on YouTube yesterday, and we covered it more on Patreon this morning. And this one, AMC, you guys know the whole situation behind that, and GameStop, which we'll talk about in a second. AMC's up 15%. It's up $1.24, and it looks like, myself included, people are getting excited for their earnings report on the 10th, which is 2 days from now. And like I said in the morning video and yesterday, I said, guys, I would not be surprised if AMC were to get to 10, 11 bucks. I could easily, I'm talking easily, see it get there. And today it got to almost the mid $9. So we're almost there. We closed at $9.30. So I think AMC rather, has more upside, especially if we break, take a look at this, 930, 950. That's the resistance from back in the beginning of March. Essentially, that was last week, right? So I think if 930 breaks, gosh, we're going straight to 11 bucks, maybe 10.50, which gives it about 15-20% upside, which who knows, this move could be made even tomorrow in one single day. It's very possible. I mean, today we saw it go up 15%. Who's to say it can't do that again? I think it could easily do that. So AMC, I like it. GameStop is another one. And by the way, I'm not too sure what AMC's short interest is. Last time I checked on highshortinterest.com, I couldn't see it. So that leads me to believe that maybe their short interest isn't as high as it once was. And it definitely isn't. I mean, it's gone down. But GameStop, on the other hand, I think I saw it yesterday. The short interest was still pretty decent. It was in the 40% range. I'm not sure what it is right now. But yeah, it makes sense. If yesterday it was at 40%, today we're seeing a short squeeze. That kind of makes sense because look, GameStop's up 41%. It's up almost 60 bucks. It went from 145 to 210 at its highest point today. We sold off to 166, saw this inverse head and shoulder form here on the intraday chart, and now we ended up closing on an upswing, and even after hours, we're moving up here. So GameStop is very, it's very aggressive the way it's moving right now. It's very bullish too because look, I mentioned this on Discord earlier. GameStop, it actually broke that 185, 190 high from back in the end of February. That's a big point. And I think 200 is even bigger. I think 200, if that psychological level breaks that resistance right around 200 bucks, I think we could be flying up to maybe 210, 215, 220 fairly quickly. I think that is where GameStop could be going here. And again, guys, these are risky, AMC and GameStop, so please approach with caution. And as always, I'm not a financial advisor, so make sure to always do your own due diligence and your own research. Another stock I'm looking at right now is Twitter, ticker symbol TWTR. This one is down about 18 bucks from its high. It's down a little bit over 20%. So Twitter today being down 5% puts it officially in a bear market. And I think clearly, I mean, on the 4-hour, you guys can see it. The uptrend is still intact here on Twitter. Look, we're holding right around the 180 SMA at about $63. And sure, it could go lower. I mean, I think Twitter, it could get to the mid-50s easily. If we see a sell-off in the market, if we hit that lower low that we were talking about in the S&P, we were talking about that earlier in the video. If we hit that lower low, I could easily see Twitter get decimated even further. And of course, if tech's going lower, Twitter's going lower, guys. Twitter went down 5% today, so I could see it go down mid-50s, but if it were to go mid-50s, guys, I think that would be maybe not a screaming buy, but a pretty decent pickup, especially if it were to go down to the mid-40s. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but mid-40s would put it right around this uptrending trend line. Probably even the low 50s would put it there. So I'm looking at Twitter, again, right around 60, 63. This very well could be a decent point right around the 180 SMA, but the second it breaks this 180 SMA, look for that mid-50 figure. That is where we could be going. Visa is another one I'm watching, ticker symbol V. This one is breaking out. It broke out of that 220 level of resistance, which has been plaguing Visa for months. You guys can see back in August, 220 was a resistance. Back in November, back in December, back in January, 220 was a resistance. And back in the end of February, it was also a resistance. So the fact that we broke out of 220 today, we hit 226, we're pulling back, we're at 220 now, but we actually held 220 as a support heading into the close of the market. These are all very good things. earnings, and the uptrend in Visa looks to be intact, at least as of now. And again, the fact that 220 is holding is a good sign. So I'm looking at this as a breakout play. I think we could go back up and test 225, 230. We could go 235. I think that is where we could be going. And I mean, I've been bullish Visa and MasterCard. Although I don't own Visa, I own MasterCard, right? MA. I've talked about that a lot on my channel. I own MA, but I'm still bullish on Visa and obviously the entire space. I think it's a good turnaround play as the economy is slowly bouncing back. If it fully recovers, big if there, if it does, I think MA, Visa, as spending's kicking back up, I think these are going to be solid picks, and that's why I own MasterCard, and I wouldn't mind owning Visa as well. Both of them are great, but I just prefer MasterCard because it has a little bit more growth in the tank than Visa does. But anyway, you can't really go wrong, and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you have Visa or MasterCard? Or do you have both? I would love to know what you think. Again, shoot me a comment. And Melli, Mercado Libre, is a stock here that one day last week, and I forgot to cover it in that day, but one day it dropped over 20%. I mean, it was an abysmal day that day. What day was that? I mean, they had one day where it was just ridiculous. Or am I exaggerating? Was it 20%? It was something crazy. It was down at one point at least 10-15% one of these days. And overall, it's down from its peak at 2000. It's down over 30%, close to 35%. And this is one that the closer and closer it gets to 1,000, even under 1,000, the more attractive it is to me. And at this point, it's sitting in the mid 1,300s. So obviously, it's not at 1,000, but we're inching there. We're getting closer and closer. We're inching towards it. And again, the closer we get to even 1,100 or 1,100, 1,200, I'm looking to add an initial little stake in this company. And I might even hold that for the long term, quite honestly. Kind of as a more speculative play on South America. And you guys know, or Latin America, whatever you want to call it. You guys know they are headquartered in Argentina. So I like this stock. I like the pullback. It's much needed. It's a much needed pullback considering the stock has gone haywire. It's gone bananas as of late. So I'm watching Melli here. I like it. Starbucks is another one, SBUX, which out of all of these, I mean, Starbucks might not have the most upside here. I mean, you guys remember I've been in Starbucks calling it out, saying I love it from the mid 70s, low 70s. I still love it at 105, but obviously not nearly as much as I loved it in the mid to low 70s. But I still think it could go to the 110s, 115s, 120s. I think that is where Starbucks is going, and I kind of like it as a more, obviously there's a tech side to Starbucks, but even as a recovery play, I like Starbucks, and I think 108 in particular, 110 too, those are some big sticking points for the stock to the point where if we break those points, I think, again, we're getting to that 115, especially if we break the all-time high. 115 is coming, guys. I don't want to say mark my words for sure, but I'm pretty confident on that, especially if the market does smooth out and see a bit of it doesn't have to rip and go to the moon, but if it slowly smooths out a bit and slowly heads back north, I'm confident Starbucks is going to do very well. So I'm watching that, and Merck is another one, MRK. We actually called this out on Patreon as well, and this is one that today went up 1.4%. Overall, it's not the most attractive when it comes to technicals, but you guys have to understand this has solid bounce back potential. It pays about a 3.5% dividend as of right now, and currently from the price high here on the 4-hour chart at about $88, it's down 15%. So you're seeing a beaten down stock, high dividend, and recently on in terms of these technicals on the yearly chart, we actually broke back above $74. I mean, we're not ripping to 76, 77, 78. We're right above 74 now. But I think if we continue that rip back upwards, especially if 75 breaks 76, I think Merck is going to be on the comeback. I think it really is. And on this 1-hour chart, we can see the break out of the 180 SMA resistance on today's gap up. So these are some signs I'm seeing for a reversal on Merck. So watch out for that MRK. And yet again, another one we called out on Patreon. We actually called this one out this morning. This one was Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO, and we called it out on the breakout above $51. It then ran up to about $52.50, and I think this one still has a lot of juice left. I mean, look, we have resistance coming up at $52. That's the big sticking point between us right now at $51.60 and $55 for Coca-Cola. So pretty much what I'm looking at here is for Coca-Cola to retake $52, break today's high at $52.50, and from there, I think $55 is coming. So check that one out. KO is the ticker, and you can see for yourselves on the 4-hour, this gap is looking pretty dang juicy. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Shoot me any stocks you're watching down below in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are up to, and of course, what are you buying? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button. Let's try to get at least 400 likes. I challenge you guys. Can we get 400 likes on this video? Make sure to also subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get your free money. There's 2 stocks from WeBull. Those are valued up to $1,600. They're literally waiting for you. Linked right down below. Make sure to go pick those up. Make sure to also check out the Patreon. Again, if you guys want real-time buy and sell alerts, real-time call-outs, more one-on-one access with me throughout the trading day, and you guys get morning videos every single day. The top-tier patrons do. And guys, I'm telling you, there's so much value on Patreon. Go check that out. Linked right down below. I had to get little Ibiza again. Here she is. She's like, Dad, what the heck are you doing? But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, say bye, Ibiza. Bye, 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 bye. Not like Jim Cramer, guys. Don't bye, 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 bye. I mean, I guess you could bye, 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 bye. But yeah, guys, bye. I'll see you all later. Keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.